Canterbury Trails Farm. This week I did a video on butter magic, on doubling your butter using evaporated milk and unflavored gelatin. And there were a lot of questions about whether or not you can substitute this butter magic or doubled butter for regular butter in baking. I'm going to do a video today showing you side-by-side comparisons so you can make your own judgments. I've always used the doubled butter just like regular butter. In fact, I never even thought about all these questions that everyone has been asking until everyone started asking them. I've been doing this since I was in my early 20s, and I'm almost 50 now, and I've never really noticed any real significant differences, and any differences I may have noticed, they just didn't matter to me because they were so, like I said, insignificant. So I'm going to show you side by side butter and the double butter magic melting in a skillet. I'm going to show you the regular butter and the doubled butter with sauteing some onions in it, so you can see that. I'm going to show you me using the doubled butter and straight regular butter in my Tuesday bread baking. So it'll give you an idea of differences if you perceive any, and give you an idea of how you want to go about if you want to use this little tip. So let's get started. Okay, I'm going to show the difference between double butter and undoubled butter, melting it in the frying pan. Still sort of frozen. You see the double butter seems a little bit creamier than the regular butter. But like I said, I always use it the same, and to me that isn't enough to be different. Okay, now I'm going to show a little bit of onion cooking in both butters here. Trying to keep them separated. So the doubled butter doesn't have as clear of a consistency as over here, but it is still, if you see over here, it's still cooking your, still doing my onion, and they're getting clearer. It's still keeping them, just like a butter grease, or grease or butter, it's still keeping them lubricated and oiled over here, and they're still cooking here. There's no dryness on the thing. You can see a little bit of you see right here, a little bit of a lumpiness. It's probably the gelatin. Like I said, it isn't affecting the cooking of anything. It smells like onion. So if this bothers you, you could just take it out. Usually when I'm doing onions, I'm mixing it in with something, so I don't really even notice this or care about this. So, I mean, like I said, since I'm mixing it in with things, I don't even take note of it. I don't even notice. So. And you can see my onion is reaching it's getting more translucent, just like the regular. Here's a okay, so there's the onions, and there's the onions, and here is a comparison, side-by-side comparison of melting, and I'm making bread today, so I'll be able to use all of this here. This is the melted, and this side we have the melted double butter, and this side is the regular straight butter. So again, you can see the double butter foams a little bit more when you're warming it up, but if you stir it, it's still butter, and so you see that the regular butter still has that more yellow consistency, but it both melts down into a liquid form, and I'm fixing to use it. Like I said, I've always used just like regular butter, so to me, I've never even stopped to think about it until I started getting all the questions. I just used it, so I've never seen a difference that in my judgment, is detectable. But I wanted to make this video because of the questions, and everybody has different, interpretations of what is acceptable and what isn't. So I'm just showing you right now that this is 1/4 cup, and what both of them look like when they are melted in the microwave it was approximately 40 seconds. 1/4 cup each. Okay. And so I'm going to get on with making my bread. I'm going to make my loaf using the double butter first, and then I'll make a loaf using the regular butter, and obviously it won't be in real time because it's bread, and I'll show you the two loaves when we come back. Okay, these are the two loaves I just took out of my bread machine. I have a bread machine from 1994 that is still working as long as I just use the dough mixer. It won't cook bread, it just mixes the dough for me. So I use that because it saves me a lot of time. So these two loaves of bread were made with the doubled butter. So I'm going to let these do their second rising, and I'm making the next two loaves will be with straight butter, and we'll be able to compare the two throughout the process. So this is what it needs to go in for its second rising. This is the doubled butter, the butter magic. And so I will show you before I put them in, before I start the oven to cook them. We'll look at them after they've risen, and then we'll look at the next batch when I get that out. Okay, here are the two loaves that have risen. They're ready to be baked. That are from the doubled butter, the butter magic, and I'm fixing to cook them. Okay, here are the loaves out of the oven using the doubled butter, and I'm fixing to put the other ones into the pans. As soon as these cool down, I can get them out. I got 3 pans, and I'm using one for meatloaf tonight, so I gotta wait for these to cool so I can take them out of the pans, and then I'll put the straight butter bread in there, and I'll let you see how that looks and all that so we can compare it. So there we have the doubled butter, the butter magic butter used in baking these loaves. Okay, here are the bread, the bread out of the bread machine that have to do the second rising that are using the straight butter. So you can, hands are still a little warm here. You can see that they're same as the other loaves. And here are the loaves out of the pans now that we're using the doubled butter magic. So you can see that they look like regular loaves of bread. And I'm going to let those straight butter loaves rise, and then I'm going to put them in the oven, and then we can compare them all side by side. Alright, here are the straight butter loaves, and they are ready to go into the oven. So we'll have them done shortly here. Alright, I have the loaves out that were with the straight butter. They're on the right here. This is the straight butter, the ones still in the dishes. And these are the ones with the double buttered. And as you can see, they all look the same. And the cooking is the same. And like I said, this is my experience, so I would suggest that if you are apprehensive in any way about using the double butter in cooking, that you do your own test. And like I said, I've never seen any significant differences in using it. I will add that I don't believe I've ever used the double butter in frosting. I was really trying to think if there's anything over the years that I've never used it in. And every time I make frosting, I have a clear memory of opening a new box of butter from the freezer and letting it soften. I think it's just maybe I'm just thinking it's fresh butter, it's frozen, I'm letting it soften, and then I make my frosting out of. I can't think of any, I always do it that way, so I don't think of, since my memory is opening the box, I'm pretty sure I've never used double butter to make the frosting, but I may be wrong. I don't know. But anyway, like I said, do your own experiment. This is my experience, and I hope this helped clear up some of the questions that some people were asking. I have never seen any significant differences in using the double butter versus using straight butter, and so that's my update. I hope it helped you. So this has been Angie from Canterbury Trails Farm. Thanks for joining us. Bye.